Welcome to Music and Anime. I'm your pianist Ab, and I won't be playing anything for you today, but I figured since my next mini concert series is going to be focused on Elfen Lied, we can take a look at some of the merch. And I just want to start off with some of the stuff that I have in my collection. Elfen Lied is one of the very first anime that I've watched. Aside from Pokemon and Sailor Moon, which I'm pretty sure we all really started with when we were younger, and now you're not really knowing what anime was, I figured that it's like that for most of us. But when I knew what anime was, I think of it, so if I think of like the very first few anime that I've watched, I think of it in bunches. I can't really tell exactly the first one I started with because it was just kind of all around the same time. So my first anime was like Code Geass, Claymore, Sacred Blacksmith, D-Gray Man, and Elfen Lied. Now, Elfen Lied, amongst those, was like the very first that was horror. And I love horror, movies and stuff like that. So this being my first horror anime, I absolutely fell in love with it. So let's take a look at the Blu-rays that I have. You can get this on DVD. There's a limited edition as well. I really like the box art that they use for the limited edition DVD. It's really cool. But on the standard and Blu-ray editions, both of them obviously is the complete series. So all 13 episodes plus the OVA, which is neat. The OVA for me, I liked half of it. The first half of the OVA felt, they said that they want to do something a little more fun with the series, and it comes across that way, but I like the series for the serious tone that it has and all that stuff. And you definitely get that with like the second half of the OVA. And they explain something in there. In the very first episode, I won't go into much details on it, but after the, massacre when she's escaping, she walks by Kurama and leaves him alive. They kind of go into why she does in the OVA, and I absolutely love it for that. So definitely worth a watch for finding that out. But anyway, both of them and the covers, they are the same art there. You have Kaede, or Lucy in the middle. You have Nana and number 35. I'm forgetting number 35's name right now, but yeah, you have her on the right there. Both of them same art on the front and on the back. So on the back of them, you can see we have 4 characters there singing in harmony. You can just imagine them singing Lilium, right? So from left to right there, we have Mayu, Yuka, Dr. Arakawa, and Shirokawa. So the scientist and the spy there. I don't know why they didn't go with just 4 more main characters. Like if they had Mayu, Yuka, Nana, and Lucy, that would have been neat. I would have liked that a little more. But cool, we get the scientists and they get a little love there, sure. But yeah, what I love about the Steelbook, the gold really shines through. So the art that you get in the opening, using that for the cover for Elfen Lied, I wouldn't have it any other way, because the opening alongside with the music, visually it's a masterpiece as well. Anyway, the Steelbook also comes with a slip cover, and the slip cover adds just a little more kind of it almost looks like the censored blood you see in anime. And this is a full Steelbook. You have on the spine there, it says Elfen Lied. I know that there was a UK release, or the UK version. It was less a Steelbook and more of a tin, and they didn't have Elfen Lied on the spine there. But we get that with the Steelbook version at least. So that's cool. Between the Steelbook and the standard editions, the art on the discs are different, which is cool. The theme that we see on the outside, right, carries through the entirety of the Steelbook edition. So this really is a true collector's edition here. We also get the soundtrack in the collector's edition here. The soundtrack is really nice. They not only have Lilium, the opening on there, but they have a violin version. So instead of the, vocals, you get the violin playing, and it's amazing. There's also another piece in there that plays throughout the series. It's called Promise. And I fell in love with that piece. Yeah, so definitely listen to Promise if you haven't heard it before. What's a little odd, I think, is that disc 1 in the collector's edition is episodes 1 through 8. Disc 1 in the standards is 1 through 10. And then disc 2 is episodes 9 through 13 plus the OVA and extras. And then in the standard edition, it's 11 through 13. So I don't know why they fit them differently, on the disc, considering that they both just all fit on 2 CDs. I don't know why they did that different there, but hey, whatever. Anyway, yeah, you have the 2 discs there plus the soundtrack with the Steelbook edition there. Now, what I like about disc versions of anime is they usually come with interviews and stuff like that in the extras. Elfen Lied, unfortunately, in the standard edition, the only extras you get is just character art and scenery art as well. You don't really get interviews from the creators or anything like that. But in the Steelbook edition, it does come with this book, and there's an interview in the book, as well as some art and a short manga in the very back as well. The short manga, it's kind of like a beach episode kind of thing. I would hardly call it a beach episode, but yeah, you get something there too. And there's a story guide, so all the episodes plus, what each episode is about. The interview in here, it was very informative. For one, I'm sure everyone, if you've seen the anime and read the manga, you know that they have completely different endings. When I saw that image of like the iceberg, if you've seen it, it's like, I'll find and put it here, but it's like an iceberg. It's a glacier, and then the water, and then the very bottom is like, a lot more ice. And it's like the very top one is like the anime ending, and then the bottom is like the manga ending, and just how drastically different it is. Anyway, when I saw that image for the first time, I thought Elfen Lied, because yeah, the endings are so different. And they explain in this interview, it's like why, and that was because the manga was still being written by Okamoto at the time that they were making the anime, so they didn't have the ending yet, and Okamoto didn't know how he was ending it either. He just knew that he wanted a drastic ending. He wanted a really dramatic and big ending, which, knowing that, I can kind of respect the ending in the anime a bit more, considering that they really had no context with what Okamoto wanted for an ending, and Okamoto didn't really have an idea either at the time. So I guess you can consider the ending in the anime grand in its own respect, but yeah, if you haven't read the manga, please do, because man, the stakes are so much higher. They put Koda in a position that it's so much deeper than the anime ending. But anyway, they also explain where the art inspiration for the opening was. And for the longest time, I've always wondered what the opening was trying to tell us, because, we have the Diclonius, and they were different species, and you get the sense that they're kind of an ancient race or something through the opening. It's hieroglyphic in nature, and you get that like vibe that there's an ancient wonder to the Diclonius race, and it really got me wondering, like, what is this about? What is this trying to tell us? Like, the art is so unique. And in the interview, they explained that the director, Kanbei, there's this artist, Gustav Klimt, and he absolutely loved his work. He wanted to implement Gustav Klimt's style into something that he would work on someday. And Elfen Lied came to his table, and he just put two and two together and thought, like, yes, Gustav Klimt's work would work perfectly on this. And if you look up Gustav Klimt's stuff, it is definitely Gustav Klimt. He spoke to the art director and said, I want to do Gustav Klimt. And the art director was also a fan of Klimt's. So they were, they both really nerded out on Klimt's stuff and just poured it into the Elfen Lied opening, which is what we see there. I have just a little bit to say about some of Klimt's stuff, because I always wondered what was it trying to tell us, and I discovered through this interview that it was Gustav Klimt. So I looked up Gustav Klimt's art, and I thought, since artists try to say something with their art, if I look into what Gustav Klimt is trying to say with his art, that'll give me a really good idea with what they're really trying to tell us, or what director Kanbei was trying to tell us with these characters through Klimt's art as well. I'm pretty sure that some of the stuff they used with some of the characters was just purely artistic inspiration, and there's other stuff with meaningful inspiration. So some of the stuff with artistic inspiration is like with Mayu and Yuka and Nana. So the art that they were based on, or the Klimt's work that they were based on, he was just doing commission work for people, and those portraits were basically just, commission works, and there's really not much to them that Klimt was trying to say with it. So I don't really think that there was much that, director Kanbei was trying to say with them either. It's just stylistically they wanted to, have these characters look that way, and they did it. Now, there's other pieces, like one of Klimt's most famous pieces is called The Kiss. And in the opening, we see it two different ways. There's an article that I'll link in the description. I'll also put in the link with a video talking about Gustav's life as an artist, if you're interested in looking into Gustav Klimt's stuff as well. But in this article, talking about The Kiss and other works, they describe The Kiss as an ode to love. The piece focuses on this man and woman who are centered, and the background around them is like considered to be the world around them. It's a little dimly lit, but still there. And what that was trying to say is that the world around them doesn't matter, or they're not really focused on the world around them. They're focused solely on each other. And the two ways that they use it, only one of them really makes sense to me. And that's with Coda. Coda replaces the man in this piece, and a Diclonius doll replaces the woman. So you have Coda and the Diclonius doll. Now, what that represents to me was, despite Kaede being a Diclonius, he loves her no matter what. And no matter what the world around him thinks about the Diclonius, he still loves her. So that to me it's very, very meaningful. Now, the second one, the other way around, you have Kaede, or, Lucy, replacing the woman in this piece, and a male Diclonius doll replacing the man. It's a little confusing to me. At least I don't really know what they're trying to say with that. I don't really think it's just an artistic choice. I think there's some meaning behind it, and I just don't know exactly what. So if you have any thoughts on that, please, let me know in the comments below or something. I'd like to know what you think of that, knowing the context of Gustav's piece. Anyway, there's another piece of his called The Three Ages of Woman, and it's used two different ways. He takes the two younger women in the piece, or, like the infant child in it, and the woman holding the child, and they use that with Kaede replacing the child and a female Diclonius doll replacing the woman holding that child. How I understand that is that Kaede really only had her Diclonius side of her to really take care of her and protect her from the world around her. If that's what they meant by it, that I really like that a lot. Now, the old woman in the Three Stages of Woman, how they use Lucy, what I think the old woman represents in that piece is, how she's been stripped of her youth, and that relates to Lucy as well, or Kaede or Lucy as well, because she never really had a childhood like everyone else has. She's only ever, known abandonment and pain. And if those are the only things that you really know as a child, then you really don't have your youth. At least that's how, I take it. So I really like, them using Gustav Klimt's stuff. And, those are ones that I really think are really meaningful. Anyway, I won't go, I can go on and on about, the art and stuff like that. But I know we have other merch here, so we'll go into that. Anyway, I love the interview that came with that booklet. Going on to the manga. The manga is only 12 volumes, so a relatively short series, and this is the first time that it's been printed in English. Now, I've been trying to get the Japanese manga set into my collection for a while now. When I saw that they were printing it in English, I was like, oh my god, yes. So I had them pre-ordered and everything, and they have it in an omnibus version. So they have 3 volumes in one book. So they're pretty thick. Right now, they only have 3 of the 4 out. The 4th one comes out, I think, September, so like next month or around there. And I already have that, reserved. I'm waiting on that one. What I'm waiting for is to have that one on my shelf, and then I'll just binge read the entire thing. So I'm really excited for that. But yeah, like I said earlier, there's a lot more to the manga. There are some characters that they kill off in the manga that they don't in the anime. They have manga-only characters as well, like the one on number 3 here, Omnibus 3. This is actually Kurama's daughter. They don't really show her all that much in the anime. I think they just have like the picture of, his wife and her. Anyway, they don't really show her. They don't show her in the anime. I'll put in the description, I'll put links to where you can get these guys. I'm pretty sure you can get them all like on Right Stuff and like Sentai Filmworks. I'll link them down in the description if you want to add them to your collection as well. So this last one here that I have in my collection is a vinyl record. This is by TigerLabs. So how I saw it at first, I saw a link or something. I was just like scrolling through something and this popped up. The first one that came out was part of a bundle. So you had to pay for this whole bundle and they gave you the records as they released. At least that's how I understood it. And it was like $200 or something, which at the time I did not have, so I couldn't, but I wanted it for Elfen Lied. I wanted it so bad. But then I read that it would be coming out later on, like as a separate release. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll wait on that. The first printing that they did, it's like, and I'll have an image of it here for you. It's like, pink. It's got swirls and everything. It looks really cool. The version that I have is the second printing that they came out with, and it was just entirely pink. Yeah, it's it's just all pink. I absolutely love it because it's so, loosey. It's definitely like, it's really cool. I absolutely love it. But anyway, the third printing of it is a gold printed version. When I saw that was listed, I was so close to getting it, but I was like, I have it already, and like I was tight on cash, and I was like, I don't know, should I? Probably shouldn't, be spending money like that. And I ended up not getting it. But now that I know that Gustav Klimt was an inspiration for the opening, and a lot of the art pieces they used was during his golden phase, is what they call it. Having a golden record of the soundtrack just sounds amazing to me now. Like even more amazing than just like, it being gold in the first place. But just that extra, knowing, where the gold was coming from in the series and all that stuff. It's yeah. Anyway, now the stuff that I don't have in my collection, there are two figures that, let me look this up right now. Yeah, so there's these two figures, and looking at them now, God, I want them so bad. Yeah, there's one of Lucy, with her, holding the helmet over her head, and you have Nana as well. The box says Nayu right on it, so you have Niu and Nana, and I want these on my shelf so bad. God damn it. There's a head option for Niu, so you can have her with, the new head option on there, or Lucy's head as well. So having like Lucy with the helmet over her head, God, that's really cool. Anyway, those exist, and I want them I want them on my shelf so bad. On that note, those are at least the pieces of merch that I have and know of. If you have anything Elfen Lied, or if you have those figures, show me so I can cry. That is it for the merch for Elfen Lied, or at least everything that, I know of or whatever. If you know anything else that exists for Elfen Lied, please show me. I would love to see what else exists out there for Elfen Lied. You can either, tell me about them in the comments below, or tell me directly like on Twitter. You can follow me just at Music and Anime. Again, I'll have links in the description with where you can get some of this stuff. I'm pretty sure the Steelbook version is still in stock. So, grab that while it's still out there. And links for the manga as well. I'll put a link for TigerLabs too, because they print out like limited edition vinyl soundtracks as well, if you're into that. They did one for like Perfect Blue, Berserk, and Death Note. I have a Death Note one that's pretty cool. That's it for this video. Again, look forward to my next mini concert series. It is going to be on Elfen Lied. I'm going to be doing Lilium, and I'm working on an arrangement for Promise. So I think it's really neat. I was listening to it and I thought, oh man, but I'll talk more about that in the mini concert series. So yes, if you like this video, give me the thumbs up, subscribe, share, and all that. And yeah, I will see you on my next mini concert series. Thank you.